This is Module 5 of Salesforce Lightning Training for 5.9. During this training, you will learn how to access 5.9 and use the soft phone features. When you complete this module, you will have a better understanding on how to use the 5.9 soft phone. 5.9 is your soft phone that is integrated into the CRM. You will launch 5.9 from the Engage tab in the bottom right corner of the home menu within the CRM. The login screen displays. Log in with the credentials your administrator sent you via email. During this training, we will only discuss options you will be using during calls. The station type will default to soft phone. Enter your station number that was assigned by the administrator. You can also find this number in your agent profile in the CRM. Click Confirm. Ensure you input and output say Plantronics. If it does not, click the drop-down arrows and select it from the list. The Confirm button will become active after the soft phone connects. If, for some reason, you need to reset your soft phone, you will click the refresh icon in the lower left corner of the screen. If you need to check your audio and microphone settings, click Settings. You can also restart your station from the Settings screen. In Settings, under Audio Devices, make sure your audio output is set to Speakers, Plantronics, and the microphone is Transmit Plantronics. You can also change your password from the Settings tab. Once you are signed into 5.9, you can release it from the Park State and move it to another monitor if you want. Click the square with the arrow in it to release it. Now that you have your 5.9 window in place, you will access your status codes from the drop-down menu, under Not Ready. You will always put yourself in ready voice when you start your shift. The soft phone system keeps track of time spent on breaks, lunch, after call work, and other not ready codes. Displayed on the screen is the tracking codes, and when to use them. Separate from the list is the following: peak medical tickets, QA package, and tech issues. You will not be using any of these codes. While in a call, the status code menu option collapses and moves to the left of the screen, next to the phone number. You can open the menu again by clicking the menu bars and then clicking Home. Because you brought the status code menu back into the call, your hold, transfer, and conference buttons do not display. However, you can still do a transfer from the blue bar at the top. To bring the buttons back into the call, click Open. While on a call, you can put the member on hold if you need to ask a question. Remember to check back in with the member after 2 minutes. If you prefer to mute the member for a quick second or two, you are allowed. Just remember to unmute before talking. When you need to call the language line, you will use the conference feature. Click Conference, and select the speed dial for the language line. Do not mute the member. You will need to speak to the translator, as if you were speaking with the member. Use the transfer button to send the member to our counties or partners. You cannot park your call. You also cannot use IM, reminder, or record. The last item is the notes or comments. When you want to add a note before transferring, click the note icon. This will open the tab. Once you enter your comments, they will save after you transfer the call. Scroll down in 5.9 to view the Citizen Contact Matches tab. The name will be a hyperlink and will open to the Citizen record. The end call is your wrap-up time. You will have 15 seconds to complete your ticket. The clock will count down, and when it hits 0, you will automatically be put back into ready status. When you click End Interaction, the call will end and you will automatically be put back into ready status. There is no wrap-up time. When it is time to go home, you have the option to place your status in Start or End Shift, and click the Log Out icon. A logout screen displays. Click End Shift, and then the Log Out button. Let's take a look at transferring calls. Anytime a member calls, and you cannot help them, you always offer a transfer. Never just give the member the number, transfer them to the person they need to speak with. What is the difference between a warm transfer and a cold transfer? A warm transfer is when you contact the person you are transferring the call to, let them know why you are transferring the caller, then you disconnect. When you use warm transfer, 5.9 will automatically place the member on hold. A cold transfer is when you transfer the call and 5.9 automatically disconnects. Here at the MCC, we only do cold transfers. I know, it sounds cold, but that is why it is called a cold transfer. When you get a screen pop, 59 will pick up the member's name in the citizen box. Once you perform a CBMS search, 59 will display the case number and member name in the related to and name drop-down boxes. Be sure you are on the correct case and citizen. Close any tabs you have opened that is not related to the case or citizen you are working with. If you find the information in 59 is not the citizen you are speaking with, click the drop-down arrow next to each box and select the correct information from the menu before making the transfer. You cannot change the name in the citizen box. The citizen name comes from the screen pop. Performing these steps will help the person receiving the transfer to get the proper information. If you do not make the change, the receiving agent's screen pop will open the wrong member information. To make a transfer, click the transfer button. The transfer screen displays and defaults to warm. Make sure you click cold. You will see information displayed under the transfer buttons. You do not want the call to come back to the center, so be sure to set the return to the call to me, minutes, to 0 before making the transfer. You will need to do this the first time you make a transfer. After the first transfer, the minutes will remain at 0. It is best practice to use the speed dial instead of dialing direct or searching on a name. To access the speed dial, click Contacts. Click the drop-down arrow next to All Group. Select Speed Dial. Now every time you select Contacts, this menu option will display. Anytime you make a transfer to a third party, you will need to set the disposition. The disposition is a part of the reporting for the MCC. Choose Transfer to Third Party. Do not search on a disposition. The Complete Transfer button becomes active. The transfer completes and you will see this message. You can close it, or wait until it disappears. You will automatically go back into ready status, and receive the next call in queue. There is no wrap-up time when transferring calls. Every time a member calls, 59 will track the phone number. You can see who last spoke with the member by clicking the Timeline tab. You will also see any calls transferred, and if there are any comments attached to the call. All MCC agents are defaulted to the last 60 days. Do not change this feature. Now let's look at how a screen pop works. When a member enters their state ID or case number into the IVR, the CRM will search for the record and open it. This is called a screen pop. If the member is calling for the very first time, the CRM will not automatically open the record. Either way, you must do a fresh CBMS search to ensure the information in the screen pop is correct. There may be times when the member puts the wrong information into the IVR. If the CRM can find that information, it will display it. Do not assume the screen pop is displaying the correct record. Now let's look at callbacks. On occasion, you will get disconnected from a member. You must immediately call the member back. To perform a callback, place yourself in callback status, and click New. Enter the member's number, and select HIB Main, HIC Puff, from the Campaign drop-down menu. The campaign displays Health First, in the member's caller ID. You are now in the call. To end the call, click End Call, to get your wrap-up time if needed. If you do not need extra time to complete your work, click End Interaction. During this training, you learned how to access and use the 59 soft phone. Do not move to the next module until you are instructed to do so. The department's definition of a person-centered approach is one that respects and values individual preferences, strengths, and contributions. The goal of the department's person and family-centered approach is to incorporate the value of person-centeredness into everything we do. This will ultimately improve the member experience by enabling all department employees to understand the perspectives and experiences of the people we serve. You have complete the entire Lightning training. Launch and complete the quiz.